Monday night. It's February, about to say January. It's February 13th, 2023, the day before Valentine's Day. So all you fellas who haven't got your lovely ladies a Valentine's gift, you better get on it. You got tomorrow, but you better get on it. Episode 326 of the Tan and J-Man Show. I'm Tanner Lee, joined as always by my co-host, Josh the J-Man Muntz, sitting in his man cave over there in Lockport, Illinois. How's it going, J-Man?
It's just your last episode as a 30-year-old.
You're right. You're right. How is the 31 club?
It's not as exciting as 30, but it's also less depressing than 30 was. So
I was gonna say I didn't think 30 was that exciting because it's like, oh no. Boy, I'm turning 30.
I was kind of excited for my 30th because then my age started matching my hairline a little bit, and I had an excuse for that. But from about 31, didn't feel any different. It's just another day of the year.
Just another day of the year. Yep. But you're right. Come next week. Yes, I will be 31. So time flies when you're having fun, they say.
We started the show when we were 24.
That's wow. That's putting it in perspective.
Yeah.
Wow. A lot of episodes. Like I said, this is episode 326. We didn't always do it live. We didn't always do it on Mondays every week, but that's 326 weeks in a row that we've fired out an episode. So
yes, sir.
Keeping it rolling.
I have some birdie bogey for you here. It is NFL related.
I'm one back, so I need this to tie her up.
You might have seen this last night. Travis Kelce's opening drive touchdown was his 16th career touchdown of his playoff career, passing what player for second in NFL history, and who is he trailing?
I did not see this, so
I'm glad you didn't. I will repeat it for you. Travis Kelce's opening drive touchdown was the 16th of his playoff career. He passed what player for second in NFL history, and he trails one player. Who is that player as well? No chance for a par either.
All right. It's good. See, we're going to be cutthroat this year.
Yeah. No mercy. No mercy. Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Arlington Public House. Arlington Public House has upscale cuisine and cocktails with a casual atmosphere located 703 Main Street, Rochester, Indiana, which is in the United States. I'm sure they have some Valentine's Day specials. I cannot find them here now, but I do remember reading them.
Yeah, we read them last week. Let's see if I can find them real quick for you.
Tell you what, over the weekend, one of their specials was a loaded queso burger, which sounds right up my alley. It has house-made queso, beer-battered fries, bacon, brioche bun.
Did you see their other special over the weekend?
Garlic butter skirt steak.
That looked really good.
It does look really good.
They are having a Valentine's Day special. It's a 4-course Valentine's Day menu for couples, shareable Valentine's Day. Each couple's meals for two is $90 and includes all courses, super salad course, shareable starter course, then entrees, and then a shareable dessert. So, and I'm not going to list all those because it's going to take a while, but you got the array of choices there.
Yes, sir.
What do you want to eat? So, and also while you go there, check out the simulators. They have simulators there. You can play some golf. You can play some soccer. There's a lot of other games you can play on there, like some target throwing games and moving obstacle games. So go check that out too.
Have you done the simulators there?
I have not. I need to.
You haven't?
I have not. My dad has not. So I know he's ramping up a golf simulator league starting soon. If it hasn't started already, I think it starts.
It started in January.
Did it start in January?
Maybe.
Yeah. So, but go check that out while you're enjoying a delicious dinner in downtown Rochester.
Get your veggies.
Well, J-Man, the NFL season is come and gone.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Super Bowl 57 is in the books, and it's a pretty good one.
Yeah. I would say it
top
was
five. Top five?
I would say it's pretty close to top five. It was kind of anticlimactic at the end. You know, of course, you had the hold on a James Bradbury that kind of ended the game, essentially, where the Chiefs were able to take it down to 9 seconds left, kick field goal. But as far as games go, that was right up there. top 5. It was the best we've had in a long time. Even that the Falcons Patriots Super Bowl wasn't that great. It was just a crazy comeback.
Right. It got exciting at the end.
But I would put it right up there with the Seahawks Patriots from 2000. When was that? 14-ish, 13, 14, something like that.
Yeah, the game was played in 15.
The game was played in 15.
Yeah,
okay.
Super Bowl 49.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, two great, the best teams in each league, Eagles and Chiefs, and Mahomes has cemented himself as one of the greatest to ever do it. He's only 27 years old. It's absurd. And I think Jalen Hurts kind of submitted himself last night as cemented himself, I should say, as one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFC.
Well, Mahomes, he's completed 5 full seasons for the Chiefs, right? In those 5 seasons, he's won 2 regular season MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, of course, with that, 2 Super Bowls. He's made 3 Super Bowls, so he's won 3 AFC championships, and he's competed in 5 AFC championships.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl MVP, and I didn't think he played that well against the Niners. Coming into the game last night, he'd thrown more interceptions in the Super Bowl than he had touchdowns, and of course he throws 3 touchdowns last night and looked really good doing it, even after turning his ankle a little bit, and it looked like, maybe Chad Henne's gonna get a shot at the Eagles to come back. But yeah, he's one of the best we've ever seen. I'd put him right up there. His talent is greater than Brady's or greater than Manning's or greater than it. He might be the most talented quarterback to ever play the game at this point. And now he's won 2 Super Bowls. As he said, he's played in 3. To do it with so much roster turnover too. The Kansas City Chiefs general manager, Brett Veach, deserves a ton of credit. I mean, he trades Tyreek Hill. And it didn't slow down Patrick Mahomes at all. Wins an MVP, wins the Super Bowl, puts up absurd numbers once again. So it's just next man up. We're bringing in Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Just little small moves like that in drafting Isaac Pacheco deserves a ton of credit.
Yeah, and he arguably made the biggest play of the game last night in that scramble towards the end on a bum ankle. And he was fighting through it, and announcers, his ankle didn't look that bad. When he was getting up after he was down, you could tell he's grimacing like son of a, but I'm going to give it all I got. So he's a tough guy. It's hard as a Bronco fan because he's a very likable personality, unbelievable player, but I can't like him because he's a Kansas City Chief and he just dominates the Broncos. So I can't like him. I can respect him though, and I definitely respect him. And he's a lot more likable than a future Hall of Famer on his team that he throws the ball to a lot, Travis Kelce.
I like Travis Kelce a lot.
Of course you do. Well, you guys got the facial hair going on. That's more so his brother. His brother and you got the facial hair.
I mean, we're pretty much the same.
But
just as talented too.
Going back to Mahomes and the Chiefs and looking in your crystal ball, the J-Man's crystal ball, which is a scary thing to look into.
You don't want to look in that.
I mean, he's got many more years of his career to go. And got to think he's going to finish his career in Kansas City. I mean, never say never. We saw Brady and Manning find new homes late in their career, and Aaron Rodgers might too if he wants to play. Never say never. But how many more do you think Mahomes gets, if any? Super Bowls, that is, titles.
I mean, they've got to play in a game that's not the AFC Championship first for me to even think that they're not going to or that they're going to stop going to these games. I mean, sky's the limit.
I don't think he gets Brady numbers, though. I don't think he wins 7.
Yeah. He might play till he's 46. Who knows?
Yeah.
He would have to get there.
Yeah.
The AFC's coming though. I mean,
it is.
Joe Burrow's coming. Josh Allen's still there.
I mean, at least one more, right?
At least one more.
1 to 2 is pretty safe. 3 might be stretching it.
Could see him getting 3. Could see him getting 4.
Well, and whenever Andy Reid decides to hang up, which might be soon, that could affect the team big time too. Because I think Andy Reid's one of the best coaches of all time.
I was just about to ask you, where would you put him? Would you put him in that top 5 now that he's won 2?
If not, he's knocking on the door. I mean, not only has he won 2, he's made 4, and he's been in 10 conference championships.
Yeah.
Because he kept getting there with Philadelphia. They just couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah.
I mean, when he took over, and the Chiefs were good before Mahomes got there. Mahomes just took him to the next level. I mean, they were good with Alex Smith. And Andy Reid inherited a dumpster fire that Romeo Crennel kind of left there in Kansas City. So, and that might make sense. Maybe he is getting right off into the sunset. And that's why Eric Bieniemy hasn't really popped up for any other jobs. Maybe he knows he might be the next man in line or has a good shot to be the next man in line. So there's a lot of moving pieces there, but when you have number 15 and the red and white behind center, they're always going to have a chance. Their defense was okay last night. I mean, it did have the scoop and score. I didn't think either defense played very well, but it was 2 of the better offenses. So
yeah, the Eagles had 4 guys on their roster that had 10 or more sacks, which is an NFL record for one. They had over 70 sacks as a team, and they only had 1 tackle for loss last night, 0 sacks. So, which I mean, part of that is Chiefs have a great offensive line, but also Mahomes is so good in the pocket, just not getting sacked too.
Yeah, when you think you have him down, you probably don't.
Yeah.
He finds guys open and makes plays. I thought a big key to the game was Jalen Hurts, of course, played really well, and I'll talk about him more in a bit. And I think he averaged close to 5 yards per rush. It wasn't quite. It was like 4.6, 4.7. But besides that, the Eagles' run game was pretty non-existent last night, and they needed it to be existent. I mean, the tight end name's escaping me right now. Goddard. He played well, of course. Brown and Smith are going to do what they do.
I thought Smith was pretty quiet outside of that first drive when he had 3 catches, and really, you didn't really see AJ Brown's number called that much either outside of his touchdown catch.
Well, he had that catch which was overturned.
Yeah, he did have that. But you look at it, it looks like the Eagles dominated that game because they had the ball for 10 more minutes.
Yeah,
they had more yards than the Chiefs did, but of course they had the fumble return for a touchdown, which kind of evens all that out.
And the punt return. Punt return, which broke a Broncos record. Did you know Jordan Norwood?
Your audio cut out, so I did not hear you at all. And Tanner's gone. As we've been talking about, I was one of the better Super Bowls that I can remember. Are you back? I see you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. I don't know if that's my router or StreamYard because everything went out on me. So, but this is fun. This is happening far too often. But as I was trying to say, before Tony on the Chiefs broke his record, Jordan Norwood of the Broncos had that in Super Bowl 50 against the Panthers.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So
I did see that. That was the first fumble return for a touchdown since Malik Jackson as well.
Dove on it. I still to this day wish DeMarcus Ware would have dove on it, which I want to talk about him. I want to talk about him and Zach Thomas in just a bit too. But going back to Jalen Hurts, he ran for 10 first downs last night.
Yeah, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. So I want you to rank your top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Top 5 quarterbacks?
Yep.
I'm putting Mahomes 1.
I agree.
I think I'm putting Joe Burrow 2.
I go back and forth between 2 and 3 with Burrow and Josh Allen. I go back and forth.
Yeah, I was going to have Allen 3, and then the old guard's no longer a threat. I wouldn't put Wilson in that top 5. Wouldn't put Rodgers in the top 5. Brady's gone. Elsewhere,
Rodgers, I would consider. He's close.
I didn't think he was that great this year. Is the issue?
I guess to win a game, you want Aaron Rodgers or Justin Herbert?
Probably Rodgers. I have a hard time putting Herbert in that top 5. I think he's a top 5 arm talent, tools, all of that. But again, hasn't won that much.
Right.
Which some of that's not his fault.
Right.
But then I'd probably put Jalen Hurts in that top 5. I'd probably put him 4.
Yeah, Herbert, and Rodgers are the three that I'm kind of
Uh-huh.
thinking in my head are fighting for those last two spots.
Yeah, I wouldn't have Dak Prescott anywhere near.
No, Kirk
Wouldn't
Cousins, no.
wouldn't have Kirk Cousins anywhere near. Wouldn't have Tua anywhere near. Wouldn't
Lamar
have Kyle.
Jackson, not. I would have a few years ago,
Yeah,
maybe, but
wouldn't have Lamar or Kyler Murray anywhere near that top five. Just I wouldn't have Geno Smith remotely close or Matt Stafford at this
Stafford
point
got
either.
banged up, or last year, if you asked me, maybe.
Honestly, the guy who played well this year that could be considered is Jared Goff.
If he has another good year next year,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
So, yeah, it was interesting. I heard Colin Cowherd talking about that today. I was like, I'm gonna ask Josh tonight what.
yeah, it seems like quarterback play. It's either you're an elite guy or you're middle of the pack. There's very little quarterback depth anymore. I mean, you look from years past, you'd always talk about Peyton and Brady and Rodgers and
Breeze.
Drew Brees, and then there'd be depth like Ben Roethlisberger and Phillip Rivers and
Eli Manning.
Eli Manning. We just don't have that anymore. It seems like you're a top guy or you're just middling.
So I was talking with my dad about this over the weekend. If Aaron Rodgers hangs it up, the leading old guard then is probably Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Because it's really a drop off in age.
Yeah, Russell's how old is he? 34? He'll be
34.
35?
I think he'll be 35, this summer.
His class, you look at it, the draft class he was in, RG3 done. Andrew Luck done. Ryan Tannehill still hanging around, but he's Ryan Tannehill. He's one of the middling guys. So his class, when that first came out, we're like, man, this is one of the better quarterback classes ever. And because of Andrew Luck hanging it up early, RG3 blowing out his knee, it just has turned out to be not that great.
Yeah. It's just crazy to see the guys we grew up watching all retiring kind of pretty closely together. But
yeah, all of them within the past 5 years, really.
That's what happens. That's what happens. I got the Brady bold prediction right of retiring. Maybe I'll get Rodgers because I had him in there, but he's going on his dark retreat or whatever that is coming up. 4 days in a row of darkness.
Starting today, yeah. His sensory deprivation.
He's supposed to be starting today, but he's advertised for the Pat McAfee show tomorrow. So is he going to call in the dark?
he's going to call in high on ayahuasca.
He's something.
Yeah, he's a weird dude.
It's very weird.
Real weird
very
dude.
Weird. Well, let's stick with it unless you had any other thoughts on Super Bowl 57.
Nope.
Let's stick with the NFL, but shift focus a little bit to the Hall of Fame class this year. Interesting class. Some guys that have been knocking on the door for quite a while, like Zach Thomas, finally knocks the door down. A first timer like DeMarcus Ware gets in. I was a little surprised he got in on the first try, to be honest.
I was not. He was one of the elite level pass rushers when he was with the Cowboys, and then he just carried it over when he was with the Broncos too in his older age. You put him and like a Jason Taylor together, and they're the same. I mean, Jason Taylor was a Hall of first ballot guy. Their numbers are very similar. So, and it helps that DeMarcus was a super likable guy as well.
Right.
That definitely helps where people actually remember him.
Right.
But yeah, I was not surprised to see he was the first ballot guy. I figured he would be.
I'm guessing Cole fans are probably pretty upset. I think a lot of them thought Reggie had a really good chance to get in. I think some even thought Dwight Freeney would get in on first try. I think both get in eventually. But
I think Dwight gets in. I don't think Reggie does.
You don't think so?
No. There's something about Reggie that it just doesn't seem like a Hall of Famer to me.
Would you compare him to like an AJ Green who just announced his retirement? Or Reggie a little above AJ?
Reggie's probably a little above, I would say. Of course, I mean, you can't fault the guy for playing with one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, and that helps, obviously. But for whatever reason, it just seemed like Reggie was always he obviously always played second fiddle to Marvin because Marvin's one of the greatest to ever do it.
Right.
And then when Marvin retired, Reggie had great years, sure, but for whatever I just don't feel like he was a Hall of Fame level guy. Now Dwight is a guy, he wreaked absolute havoc during those Peyton Manning years. Defensively, I think one thing I'll always remember about Dwight Freeney is that spin move he had. And that will help his case to get in the Hall of Fame because he had like a signature move that people remember.
Yeah.
That spin move was tough to stop, and he would when the Colts would get a lead in the fourth quarter, he'd just hunt, could do whatever he wanted to do, and it usually worked out for him.
I got to look up who else is in that Hall of Fame class because off the top of my head, I am not remembering.
Darrelle Revis Island was the first. I believe he was first ballot.
Yeah, he was a no-brainer.
Yeah, he was one of the best cornerbacks in the history of the NFL.
Rondé Barber.
Rondé Barber got in. A little surprised at that one. I didn't think he was a Hall of Fame level safety.
Joe Thomas. No
Thomas.
Doubt.
No doubt. First ballot guy.
He's the first Brown since it's been a long time. I forget who I even saw. Like I couldn't believe how long it's been since a Brown got in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Also,
I have no idea.
We had all the rest. We had Donna Coriel, coach and contributor, Chuck Howley, Sr., Joe Klecko, Sr., and Ken Riley, Sr.
Yeah. There's been talk that they're going to add like another level. Like you have your Hall of Famers, and then you have your top floor Hall of Famers, which are the Bill Belichick's, Tom Brady's, all those type of guys, Drew Brees, all those type of guys that are better than than other Hall of Famers. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't like that. Just keep it as it is. I mean, some guys are going to get in that probably don't deserve it. That happens. That's happening in the Baseball Hall of Fame nowadays too. You know, as fans, maybe we think the Hall of Fame is not as big a deal as it used to be, but to the players that get into this, each of them break down quite a bit. Yeah. I mean, we saw Scott Rowland break down with his family, DeMarcus Ware, when Jerry Jones surprised him, telling him that he got inducted. So it still means a ton to the guys who give their blood, sweat, and tears to their craft every day.
And I think if they do that, it would cheapen it a little bit too. Yeah. Because I think we'd see more guys that don't deserve it get in then. Because you had to have been a special player to even be considered for it, let alone get in. And that's why I'm so happy Zach Thomas finally got in. He was a 7-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro. You put his numbers up against like Urlacher and Ray Lewis during that day, and they're almost identical. And the Dolphins had the number 1 defense in the NFL when he was there as well. So he was an undersized guy out of Texas Tech. Peyton Manning called him one of the smartest, if not the smartest player he ever played against. Kevin Mawai, who's in the Hall of Fame, called him the exact same. He was one of my favorite players growing up, just flying around the football field. And I was really happy to see him get in finally. It'd been a long time coming.
Yeah, you'd been kind of his campaign manager.
Yeah.
They should have sent you in the room to speak from. I don't know who the Dolphins representative is that they do that, but
it was Jimmy Johnson's the one that told him, because he was the coach that drafted him for one. But
would you ever go to the Hall of Fame? Like what player would you even have interest going to see that guy? Of course, Marino's already in, so
yeah, and JT's already in.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I thought
I think it'd be cool, but it'd also be kind of boring. I don't want to watch 7 40-minute speeches.
Yeah, no, it would be cool to do once. I think. Champ Bailey was the one a few years ago. I think would have been cool for me, but I was trying to think the other day, maybe Von Miller. I mean, now he's the only one I could see that I watched his whole career as a Bronco.
The only guy on the Dolphins that is going to be a Hall of Famer right now is Tyreek Hill, and he's been there 9 or 11 months. So it's not like I have this connection to him like I did with a Zach Thomas or Jason Taylor growing up, watching them, all of that. But
right. So it'll be interesting. I don't even know who's up for next year.
I saw it, but I do not remember. Next year will be guys that retired in 2018.
Yeah.
So that's not that long ago, it feels like.
Let's see. Maybe I can find it here.
Would you go to Drew Brees?
That would be cool. He would definitely be the only non-Bronco player I'd even entertain. Yeah, I'm sure he would have a ton of Purdue fans go to that. Of course, when I put NFL class, here we go. I put NFL class of 2024 to bring up draft class.
No.
But here we go. I found it. Julius Peppers,
Hall of Famer.
Antonio Gates,
Not a first ballot guy, but he'll get in.
Eric Berry,
No.
Haloti Nada,
He might get in, but he won't be a first ballot guy.
Brandon Marshall.
No.
It's hilarious. A lot of these guys are like one or two teams, and Marshall's Broncos, Dolphins, Bears, Jets, Giants, Seahawks, Saints. Jamal Charles.
Definitely not.
Andrew Luck.
Nah.
Doug Baldwin.
No.
Jordy Nelson.
No.
Sebastian Janikowski.
No.
Kyle Williams.
No.
Darren Woodson.
No.
He was a 3-time Super Bowl champ, 5-time Pro Bowler, and 4-time All-Pro.
Pretty good.
Dwight Freeney.
I don't think he gets in on the second ballot either. Third or fourth.
Patrick Willis.
He'll get in eventually, and it might be next year that it happens. He almost got in this year.
James Harrison.
Nah.
Rodney Harrison.
Nah.
Jared Allen.
That's an interesting one. He had a great career, the Chiefs and the Vikings, but I'll say no.
He's 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, 12th most sacks in NFL history.
He might get in.
Devin Hester.
I think he'll get in eventually. Bears fans have whined enough about it that he'll probably get in.
He was a game changer.
Yeah, he the problem is he'll go in as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Instead of just a special team. Maybe he'll go in as a special teamer.
Reggie Wayne.
No.
Andre Johnson.
I think he gets in eventually.
Steve Smith Sr.
No.
Torrey Holt.
I'm surprised Torrey Holt's not in. If Torrey Holt's been on the ballot this long and hasn't gotten in, I don't think Reggie Wayne will get in anytime soon. Or Steve Smith.
Hines Ward.
Nah.
Anquan Bolden.
That's an interesting one, but I'll say no.
Vince Wilfork.
The Patriots thing might get him in, but I don't think he'll get in.
Robert Mathis.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
Willie Anderson.
I don't even know who that is.
Offensive tackle for the Bengals
Yeah.
and the Ravens. And Albert Lewis.
I definitely don't know who that is.
He was a cornerback for Chiefs and Raiders, 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first-team All-Pro. So, yeah, pretty big potential class.
Yeah.
So, well, let's stick with NFL, football, all that. And I got a good word association for you.
Beautiful. I think word association is my favorite segment of the week.
It's always interesting. It's always hard to find.
It is. It's getting more difficult to try to come up with them too.
I do have to give my dad kudos for this one. He gave me this list. So, well, first, no, I'll do the list first. There's been 17 straight times the quarterback who loses his first Super Bowl appearance never gets back. Goes all the way back to Stan Humphries.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you the list of other guys.
I don't want to hear one of them.
Well, no, I'm not putting him on here. So it's I'll start with I'll actually start more in our lifetime. I'm not gonna put O'Donnell in there, Humphries or O'Donnell, because we were so young.
I remember Stan Humphries.
Drew Bledsoe.
Oh man, what could have been if he just wouldn't have gotten a concussion? You know,
NFL would have been different.
My life would have been a whole lot easier in the fall.
Chris Chandler.
Former Falcon guy. Hard to believe that he made a Super Bowl, but he did.
He got there in Super Bowl 33.
Should
have been the Vikings against the Broncos. And the Vikings
I always forget the name of their big running back.
Jamal Anderson, the Dirty Bird.
That's right.
Yep. Steve McNair. Rest in peace.
Man, they were a yard away from tying that thing. He was good. Did he win an MVP? I want to say he won an MVP.
I think he did.
Yeah.
He's a good Raven too.
Yeah, tragic way for his life to end, but heck of a football player.
Kerry Collins.
Man, that dude threw for 40,000 yards, I believe.
Played for a lot of teams.
Yeah, Penn State boy. He played for about as many teams as Brandon Marshall did.
Rich Gannon, MVP.
He did win. We should do a list of like terrible MVP winners. Rich Gannon would be on that list. Is he? I don't think he's still commentating games either.
So he's like the E team or the F team.
Yeah, he's their seventh man at CBS. I mean, he had that unbelievable year for that really good Raiders team, but other than that, he wasn't that great.
A guy, one of our favorite old comedians, John Reap, used to talk about Jake Delhomme.
Jake Delhomme. Oh, man, hard to believe that guy had a chance to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Let alone play in one. Those teams around him must have been really good. But, yeah, he was a Panthers quarterback for a long time, too.
Donovan McNabb.
McNabb's one of the more underrated quarterbacks of our lifetime. Could never get over the hump. Of course, he went to those 3 straight NFC Championship games with the Eagles and lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Then he went to the Redskins for a little bit, but put up some really good numbers, and he was one of the top probably 7 or 8 best quarterbacks in the NFL during his heyday.
Chunky Soup commercials, too.
That's right.
Matt Hasselbeck.
We want the ball and we're going to score. That's his lasting impression on me, and then he throws a pick 6 right away. Yep. He had some good years with the Seahawks.
Wasn't the McKenzie with the long dreads for the Packers that picked him off?
It was either McKenzie or they had R.W. McQuarters as well.
Yeah.
I remember him.
There's a Bears throwback.
I think it was McKenzie.
Wow, I haven't thought about him in a decade. Rex Grossman.
Sexy Rexy, Santa Claus, Indiana's own. Was he? No, he was Bloomington. Yeah, Cutler was Santa Claus.
There you go. Yeah, both played for the Bears.
Yeah, both played for the Bears. One was a little better than the other. Man, if they would have had a competent quarterback, they might have gone undefeated. That defense was so good in 2005.
He was not good in the rain in Super Bowl 41.
He was not good in the sun most of the time.
True.
So.
That's true. Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, man. I think his days as an NFL quarterback are finally done. I haven't heard about him in a while. Stood up for what he believed. Good for him.
Cam Newton, MVP.
Cam. His career fizzled quicker than anybody's career I can think of. Was on top of the world, won an MVP. Broncos kind of broke him a little bit. He was never really the same after that. Matt
Ryan.
Oh, man, that's the worst one to have on the list, too, because they should not have lost that one. I would not put him in the Hall of Fame. He had over 60,000 yards, but he felt like such a mediocre good quarterback, if that makes sense.
Jared Goff.
He had a bounce back year. Honestly, could have been considered comeback player of the year if it wasn't for Geno Smith. He had a really good year with the Lions.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G. Where's he end up, you think?
Maybe, even though I want to say Derek Carr goes to Washington for my bowl predictions, maybe Washington.
I wouldn't mind if he doesn't have a starting opportunity, him coming to Miami.
Yeah, he'd be a good backup.
They need a good backup because Teddy Bridgewater's one job this year was to stay healthy. He couldn't even do it. So.
And Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow will be back. I will go on record and say he's back eventually. Almost went back this year, but yeah, he's a guy. Although you got to look at it, Marino never went back. Maybe that's the same for Burrow.
You never know.
They're going to start getting expensive there too. They're already talking about potentially trading T. Higgins because they just can't afford him, and that's a small market team anyway. So who knows?
Well, that's the thing with Jalen Hurts. I mean, the Eagles are probably going to go ahead and try to get a contract done with him, which would scare me if I'm a fan. I mean, he is worth it. Don't get me wrong, but I would still always wait until you have to, and then you do it. Yeah. But the Eagles, Lane Johnson, and then Kelsey, they might retire. That team could look totally different.
Yeah, Kelsey said he doesn't know yet, and then Lane Johnson just announced he's been playing through a shoulder issue and he's having surgery this week. So. Yeah, that's that's 2 big part of their team right there.
Can you name me the only 3 quarterbacks in NFL history to lose their first Super Bowl start and eventually come back and win one?
There's 3 in NFL history to have.
There's only 3. Yep.
Lose their first Super Bowl start and
then eventually win one.
Our era.
No. One played during our lifetime, the other 2 did not. But even the one in our lifetime wasn't really our era.
Montana, did he lose one first?
No.
I have no idea.
John Elway. He lost.
Oh,
a
I should have
bunch.
got that.
He lost
one.
a bunch before he won his.
Yeah.
Lynn Dawson,
Wouldn't have guessed him.
and Bob Greasy.
Ah, well, yeah, they lost to. I think they lost to Dallas.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Should have got Greasy in.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, when we talk about quarterbacks and then the Super Bowl, I mean, you would think there's a lot more than 3, but like, I'm trying to think. I mean, other guys just make multiple and find ways to win them, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, like Jim Kelly went back a bunch.
Tons of times. Couldn't get it done.
Lost them all.
Yep. Yeah. Favre won his first one. He only made one more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breeze only went to one. He won it. Rodgers won it.
The Mannings both won. Well, Eli never lost one, but Peyton won his first one. Would then lose his next 2 and then won his last one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So good stuff. Good stuff.
And that is this week's Word Association segment, which is brought to you by Proforma Print 2 Promo Group. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Proforma Print 2 Promo Group has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company today by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call at 574-210-3815.
You want to get educated here real quick.
I do. I could use smartened up.
On this day in 1920, Baseball Hall of Famer Rube Foster and 7 other team owners create the first Negro National League in a meeting in Kansas City at a Kansas City YMCA. On this day in 1937, the Boston Redskins receive approval from NFL to move to Washington, D.C. to share baseball's Griffith Stadium with First Washington Senators of the American League. On this day in 1971, U.S. Vice President Spiro Agnew hit 2 tee shots into the crowd while golfing, injuring 2.
Oh, that'd be something I'd do.
Yeah. Watching Rory hit that ball with so many people right there and not decapitating one of them is shocking.
It's amazing. It's just amazing. Those guys are so good at their craft. Like, I was watching John Rahm the other day, and he was out way in the desert on a hole out there in Phoenix, and people lined up both sides of him, and he just doesn't bother him, just ropes on him. Like I'd kill that person, because I'd go right or left.
On this day in 1977, who won the All-Star Game MVP, NBA All-Star Game MVP?
77. Pete Maravich.
Good guess, Dr. J. On this day in 1983, who won the NBA All-Star Game MVP?
Magic Johnson.
Good guess again, but that's also Dr. J.
Oh, Julius.
Yeah, Julius Erving. On this day in 1990, Larry Bird ended his NBA free throw streak of 71 games in a row.
It's pretty good.
71 free throws in a row, I imagine.
Yeah. There's no way he won 71 games in a row without missing a free throw, I wouldn't think. But at that age, his back was really giving out, and he probably didn't get to the line as much as he did.
Yeah, that's a good point. On this day in 94, who won the NBA All-Star Game MVP?
Was that Magic? Was that when he came back?
No, Scottie Pippen.
Oh. I knew Magic came back that one year for an All-Star Game pretty much only, and then won the MVP. But
who won the 2000 NBA All-Star Game MVP? A lot of NBA All-Star games.
It's killing me. 2000, I kind of remember watching this one. Did the East win this one?
No.
Oh, never mind. That's not the one I'm thinking. Maybe that was like 01 or 02. 2000, let's go.
Co-MVPs.
Let's go Shaq and Kobe.
Good guess. Shaq and Tim Duncan.
I got half. All right.
Who won the 2005 NFL Pro Bowl MVP?
05. Let's go with that guy would have been too young. I was gonna throw a crazy one out like Carson Palmer, but he would have been too young. Let's go Steve McNair.
Peyton Manning.
Oh, well, yeah, that was easy.
That's Who won the Super Bowl MVP last year?
Last year, the Rams won it.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't Stafford. Connor Cup.
Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup.
I'll give you 50% on that one.
Cooper Cup. Where did I?
I'm going to give you a bogey just for...
That's embarrassing.
Just for saying that.
I host a podcast. Connor Cup. I was seeing him in my head and just Cooper Cup. And you said that's going to do it on this day? That's the On This Day segment, which is brought to you by Mooney Woodcrafts. Mooney Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated woodcraft shop based out of North Carolina with Indiana grassroots. They provide 100% hand-cut custom designs to fit your needs, and their pieces are a great addition to any home, office, or man cave. You can see some of their recently completed projects by visiting at Mooney Woodcrafts on Instagram and Facebook. And let them know the Tan and J-Man Show sent you for 15% off your order. I saw Thad just completed a growth chart for somebody. So
nice.
That's one of their recently completed projects on their social media. So go check it out. Go check out all his work, and you will not be disappointed. 15% off. Tell them Tan and J-Man Show sent you.
I've been scared to ask what a growth chart is, but it's just checks your height, right?
Yeah. So it's like a lot of times the parent will have the kids next in the doorway and then make marks, but this way you got one, you don't have to do that. So
you should do that.
You
see how tall I am. See if I grow over the summer.
You're gonna shriek and make yourself mad.
I'll shoot up to 6'4", be dunking on everyone.
I always hate when I go to the doctor and they always measure and you find out what your actual height is.
Yeah. Like, man, I thought I was 5'11", not 5'8.5".
Yeah. Stupid driver's license. I'm rounding up anyways. So
yeah, I round down when they ask me my weight. So
good call.
Yeah. College hoops.
Another wacky week around the country even in the Big Ten over the weekend, including yesterday.
Yeah. Purdue choked.
They did. I only watched the first half on TV. Had to listen to the second half on the radio, which I do not like listening to games when they're close.
Especially basketball.
When they're close on the radio. I was feeling pretty confident when Purdue was up 8 with 3.5 minutes-ish left, but that 8-point lead went down to 3 in 28 seconds. And then the game was just never the same. Purdue just turned the ball over a bunch. Northwestern had a few guys get hot, and Northwestern beats the number 1 ranked team in the country for the first time in program history. And yet again, in a Purdue road loss, the court gets stormed. That's 6 out of the last 7.
That's crazy.
So, and if it happens to Maryland Thursday, I bet Maryland will do it too. Because Purdue fell to number 3.
Too.
Well, Indiana did it, and they're ranked 21st.
That's fair.
It was a rivalry. But what's getting me with these court storming, I cannot talk tonight. Court stormings is, I get it. They're 18 to 22-year-old students. They're having fun. Somebody's going to get seriously hurt one of these days, because Mason Gillis was fighting through guys to get off the crowd yesterday and help his teammate Brandon Newman get off. Students are pushing them, shoving them at Northwestern. Could have got really ugly. Thankfully, nobody got hurt.
Yeah,
so.
could because it'd take a lot to keep your composure there. I mean, Gillis hauls off and hits somebody, he's suspended,
Yep.
And the student gets nothing, even though the student's probably the one that instigated the whole thing.
Yep.
That was a very impressive court storm too, I will say. It happened quick.
Yeah, happened. They were ready. Well, Andy Katz said they were ready before the game even started.
I hate Northwestern. I was a huge Purdue fan yesterday, which I've never said before. I was rooting for them so hard because I hate Northwestern so much. And now Northwestern is going to make the tournament.
Yeah, I think that really...
I'm surprised they weren't ranked today, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought they might crawl into the back half of the 25, but...
Ranked 27.
Yeah, frustrating. I mean, Purdue shot the ball well in the first half and couldn't hit water if they fell off a boat from 3-point range in the second half. I mean, Edey was pretty good, but Matt Painter was not happy with the officials after the game. But a lot of Big Ten coaches haven't been happy with officiating. Nothing's changing. It's probably going to be a year again where the Big Ten Flanders out in March because they beat up on each other because the officials let them do that. In NCAA, they won't call it like that.
Yep.
So, extremely frustrating. make me a little nervous. I mean, Thursday's game's huge now. I already wasn't feeling very good about it even before yesterday's game, but now I'm really nervous about it because, Purdue's got a 2-game lead now over everybody in the conference, but lose Thursday, then that lead shrinks even more. And you got Northwestern, Indiana, and Illinois right on your heels. So, and they all play each other.
Yeah, they all play each other this week.
So
Illinois doesn't play Northwestern, do they? No, they don't.
They still play them though.
Yes, they do.
That's what I meant. They still all play each other. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it was. It's one of those things I kept thinking, man, the Big Ten's not very good, but now you look at it, you have, 5 or 6 teams there that are over 500 in conference play.
Right.
The back half is kind of separating themselves. Ohio State is garbage.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They are the clear second worst team.
They've quit.
Absolutely scored 14 points in the first half against Michigan State yesterday. Minnesota gave Iowa a game for a little bit. I think Nebraska is head and shoulders above those two teams right now. They're playing some good basketball.
Doing a good job right now.
But then you have that middle that's all kind of clustered together. Michigan lost. I could see that loss after not scoring the final 5 minutes. I could see Michigan starting to tail off a little bit.
That loss could be huge for the Big Ten race, even because that keeps Indiana right there.
It kept Indiana right there, and maybe Michigan starts giving up a little bit too,
right?
Because they needed that for their resume. I mean, they have a terrible loss to Central Michigan. Arizona State's not that good. They got killed by them. But yeah, they could tail off. It looks like Michigan State's starting to play a little better at this point. Wisconsin's tailing off big time. Blew a 17-point second half lead to Nebraska, ended up losing in overtime. So I think the top half's separating themselves a little bit, and got to include Northwestern in that at this point. I mean, they're 9-5. They've done everything I said they wouldn't do, and that breaks my heart a little bit. But
that's another thing that makes me a little concerned about Purdue. They're 7-0 against the bottom half, the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. Top half, they're 5-3. So yeah, a little concerning.
Yeah, it's obviously. I mean, 2 of those losses are on the road.
Right. But it is tough to win on the road in Big Ten. But,
especially when you have that target on your back.
I didn't think a Purdue team would lose an 8-point lead with 3.5 minutes left at Northwestern. Yeah. And on the radio, it sounded like they got what they wanted coming out of timeout. Northwestern missed a 3. Purdue didn't get the rebound. Northwestern kicks out, hits a 3, 5-point game, and then it was kind of changed the whole game. Yeah. So maybe if Purdue gets that rebound, we're sitting here talking differently.
They're 2 road losses here the past week plus.
They've lost 2 of the last 3 games.
Past 10 days or so. Braden Smith looked like a freshman for the first time all year. I don't know if Lawyer did much yesterday.
Teams are starting to get really physical with him off ball screens, and it's really affecting him. So he's kind of struggling too.
It's coming to that point of the year where the Big Ten scouts so well.
Mm-hmm.
Try to take away your strengths. I mean, Edey's going to do what he does.
Yep.
It's those other guys that need to step up. And Gillis did against Penn State, hitting 23s or whatever that was.
9.
It felt like 20.
It did. He started off hitting 3 threes in the first half yesterday.
Yeah.
I wish Caleb First would shoot the ball more. He's a good rebounder, good around the hoop. He gets threes and he seems to pass them up. Braden Smith, it was interesting. The fans were pretty hard on him after they lost to IU. Comes back against Iowa. He did have some turnovers against Iowa, particularly late, but he had 24 points. Yeah. So I'm hoping maybe he can replicate that at Maryland, come out and have a really good game scoring-wise. Because they got Maryland the first time, but Maryland hung in there. It was a 3-point game, and it will be rocking there. But it's a 6:30 game, which I'm a little thankful for because I think 6:30 games are hard to get to, at least right away to get a full.
Especially in the D.C. area, too.
So we'll see. That's going to be a tough one. But, yeah, it's I still think Purdue will hang on and win the Big Ten, but it's definitely not looking as solid as it did.
Do you think they hang on and get a 1 seed still?
I think they could lose one more Big Ten regular season game and go into the Big Ten tournament. And they probably need to win one Big Ten tournament game after that to solidify a 1 seed, I would say.
I tell you who's looking awfully good right now is Alabama. For one, they're blowing everyone out. UCLA's right there as well. Baylor's kind of creeping up again.
Well, Houston's going to get a 1.
And
they don't play anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. You got to bring it every night.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have a week like Tennessee did and lose on 2 buzzer beaters.
Yeah.
And
One against a bad team and then one against a decent team. But
that's
at
nice
home,
of you to say.
that hurt me deeply to say that.
I can
too.
see it in your face.
Yeah.
Hey, you have to talk a little nice about Northwestern and Missouri
In
tonight.
Missouri.
Man.
It's a bad day. I will not talk nicely about Iowa, even though I think they're pretty good.
Rutgers is interesting right now.
Huh?
They're kind of
their offense is putrid. They are one of the best defensive teams in the country. Caleb McConnell is the best defensive player in the Big Ten. His length, just the way he approaches defense is absurd. But they cannot score. They don't really have a true point guard. Mulcahy's okay. McConnell's not a scorer. Omaruyi's a good dunker. I don't know if he has much of an offensive game. Cam Spencer, if you hold him down, he's nothing, which Jaden Epps did a fantastic job on Saturday, limited him to 2 points. They looked like they were getting everything they wanted offensively through the first 24 minutes or so against Illinois. And then Illinois put the clamps on them and went on a 19-0 run and kind of blew them out a little bit. And that was a big win for Illinois just to stay in the Big Ten race in that top 4. See, but it's also big because they didn't have many quality quad 1 wins. I mean, their quad 1 wins coming in were Texas and UCLA, which those are arguably the 2 best wins any team has in the country. But then Wisconsin was a quad 1 win on the road, losing Nebraska. Now they're a quad 2. Michigan State was a quad 1 win when it happened. They're a quad 2 win now. Same with Ohio State at home. So Illinois didn't really have that quality of win and getting it. And I hope Rutgers stays in that top 30 in the net. Who knows though? Their schedule's okay the rest of the year. They're a good team, but man, they're a rough watch offensively.
Well, even against Indiana last week, Indiana went like 11 minutes and some change without scoring a field goal, and Rutgers couldn't take advantage.
Yeah, Rutgers on Saturday did not score a point from the 15:05 minute mark in the second half to the 5:03 minute mark in the second half. That was a 10-minute scoring drop, not just field goal drop, scoring drop.
Tough to win games when you do that.
Yeah.
So let's pick some games because I know there's some good ones in the Big Ten this week.
Let's do it. Tuesday night on ESPNU, the rare Big Ten ESPNU game. Illinois at Penn State.
Illinois gets this one. Penn State's a team. I think we talked about every other Big Ten team except Penn State. Yeah. They're not going to make the tournament. They're starting to fall.
Yeah, they're starting to slip a little bit. They're still a scary team to play because they
go bombs away.
They go bombs away. That loss at home Illinois could end up being a quad 3 loss by the end of the year with how Penn State's sliding. I do think Illinois gets revenge here. I think they'll be ready. Definitely. And I think Illinois plays better on the road, it feels like.
That's not a favorable place for Illinois though in the history, and you know that.
It's not. It has been in the Underwood era, at least the past couple years where they play. I don't know if they played there last year, but the year before, I remember they got down 18 in the first half, came back and won by 20 something. I was
gonna say, well, nobody's there, but actually nobody's ever there. So
yeah, no one ever there. I think it's a close one. I think Illinois should be able to score against them anyway. Nebraska at Rutgers.
I'll take Rutgers, but it wouldn't shock me if this game's close.
Yeah, Nebraska's missing 2 starters too, but man, Tominaga bombs away.
He's the Big Ten Steph Curry right now.
He's fun to watch when you're not playing him. You hate him.
Yeah, 100%.
But he's fun to watch. Michigan at Wisconsin. Both teams need this one.
I'm gonna go Wisconsin just because they're at home, but yeah, both teams are just.
Yeah, I've talked about Michigan maybe giving up a little bit, but I think Wisconsin's definitely given up, especially after that loss at Nebraska. Oh man, give me Michigan though. On the road. Wednesday night, we have Minnesota at Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Give me Michigan State. Indiana at Northwestern.
I think Indiana gets it done.
I do as well.
Northwestern is a hangover after coming off a huge win.
Indiana is one of the hottest teams in the country.
They are.
They're playing. They did get beat pretty handily by Maryland a few weeks ago, but
and they're mostly a 2-man team right now. But
they went into Michigan and won without Race Thompson and without obviously Xavier Johnson.
He might be coming back soon, but I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Purdue at Maryland.
All day long I've been telling myself Maryland's going to win this one, and I even thought that before the Northwestern game. My heart won't let me do it. I'm going Purdue. I don't know why I've changed my mood.
Give me Purdue as well. I mean, Matt Painter's too good of a coach to lose 2 in a row. Speaking of not losing 2 in a row, Illinois has not lost 2 in a row since January of last year.
Well, that'll always get you in consideration for whatever you're playing for. So
yep. So give me Purdue. Ohio State at Iowa.
Iowa
large. Iowa might hold a team under 60 points. That's how bad Ohio State's offense is. Saturday we have Illinois at Indiana.
This was an ugly matchup for Illinois the first time.
Ugly.
I think IU gets it done. This is painful for me to say because I think they have a good week and they're just gonna keep climbing.
This will be the J-Man's Book It prediction of the week. I think the Illini go in there and get her done. There's something about it. I just feel like Illinois is going to win that one. They've won 2 straight in Assembly Hall. I think they're mad about what happened. Now, if they come out with the same defense against Trace Jackson Davis, I won't feel that way. But give me the Illini. I like the way the Illini are playing right now. And that's
I hope you're right, and I hope I'm wrong. So,
Rutgers at Wisconsin. First 1 to 45 wins this one.
I'll take Rutgers in this one.
Yeah, give me Rutgers on the road. Michigan State at Michigan. Michigan, big week for them.
I don't know why, Bob. I'm taking Michigan this one. I have no idea why.
I'm taking Michigan as well. I'm taking them twice this week. Penn State at Minnesota.
Penn State.
Give me Minnesota at home. I don't know why. Ohio State at Purdue.
That's a CBS one.
Ohio State gets the CBS games. They had CBS yesterday, have a CBS this Sunday, and I think they have a CBS
brand,
in 2
man.
Sundays.
It's the brand. I think Purdue gets them pretty easily. And here's my gripe about Purdue, real quick. I know we're gonna wrap this up soon. Purdue has had 2 Saturday Big Ten games this year, and they're both against Indiana. Every other weekend's been Sunday.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
That has been a thing that Illinois fans complained about all year last year too. So you guys kind of got that schedule. Yeah. Illinois had a bunch of Saturday games, and I'm okay with it. Yeah, Purdue large. Maryland at Nebraska, trap game here.
Maryland.
And I hope Maryland loses twice this week. But give me Maryland on the road. Then Iowa at Northwestern.
Give me Northwestern in that one.
Give me Northwestern as well. J-Man's Book of Producer of the Week brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watering. Life, home, auto, business, renters, workers' comp, and farm insurance. Contact Travis 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watering@infb.com. Book it!
Anything else before Bogey, J-Man?
You got anything else before we get to Birdie Bogey?
I really don't. We've talked about all the topics I wanted to. So
Travis Kelce caught a touchdown, I should say, on the opening drive of the Super Bowl. I'm gonna start that over because I butchered that terribly. Travis Kelce's opening drive touchdown was the 16th of his playoff career, passing what player for second in NFL history, and what player does he trail?
I think one of these guys fits one. I don't know which one. I'm probably wrong being so confident in this guy, but Jerry Rice.
Which one?
Oh, you jerk.
Did he pass him or does he trail him?
Oh, you jerk. Trails him.
You got that one. Woo! Okay.
All right. Who'd he pass?
Who'd he pass?
All right. Somebody that had played a lot of Super Bowls. Did he pass Rob Gronkowski?
He did, man.
Yes!
You got it.
Tied up.
We're tied. That was impressive.
That was a poll.
Wow. Boy, T-Dog. That was impressive.
The only other one I was thinking was Michael Irvin. I'm like, I don't think he played. He played in a decent amount, but
yeah, that was a good one. Credit to Tanner. That's my birthday gift to him, even though he did all the work. Thanks for watching the Tan and J-Man Show live on the ISC Sports Network. We'll be back at it next Monday with another episode. Have a fantastic week, everybody.